Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to make a box with an acetate insert on the top. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, I saw this box being made on Sam Calcott's channel called Mixed Up Craft, and it's beautiful and I can't wait to make it. I've made a lot of the pieces that go on it so that you didn't have to watch me do a lot of it, but the first thing we're going to do is make the actual base, and this base is 9.5 by 9.5, and I'm going to do a little trim. I'm going to cut, these are 9.5 by 9.5 inches square, and what she recommended that you do is that you cut a 1/16 of an inch off of each of two sides. So I'll show you how I'm going to do this. It's just a little sliver. I'm going to make sure I get just a little bit of it. So you're talking just this much, and you want to do that on two sides. I'm going to do it on this side because I got a little bit of a mark on this side. Okay, this one is going to be our base, the one that we just cut a little bit off of. And then our top we have ready to go. So now what we're going to do is some scoring. I'll show you these pieces in a minute. So you're going to take your scoreboard, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. I'm getting my tool out. This is our base, the one we just cut the 1/16 of an inch off of, and you're going to want to score this on at 2.5 inches. And what she recommended you doing, you want to do this on all four sides, but what she recommended you doing is, rather than going to the other end and scoring at this end, she recommends that you score it at 2.5, turn it, score it at 2.5. Ooh, jumped out of my little thing there. And then turn it one last turn and score at 2.5. So we have scores at all four sides, and that is our base. Then the top, that again is 9.5 inches square. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to score it at 2.5 on all four sides, and then you're going to do another score on all four sides. But I thought it'd be easier if we did this first. 2.5, 2.5. Then we're going to score them at 1.25 on all four sides. This is so we can make a really sturdy lid. 1.25. Oops, jumped out of the track again. Jeepers creepers. 1.25. 1.25 and 1.25. So when you want to make the box in the center of your lid, you need to go 5/8 from each of your four inner scores. So what I did was I made my marks. This is the easiest way to do it. You can do it with an X-Acto knife, but I'm not good with an X-Acto knife. I think most of you know that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put this, my line, my pencil line, hopefully you can see my pencil line. I'm going to try and make my marks, well, make my cuts exactly where I'm trying to line up my lines at. And hopefully I just did that right. And I'm going to just keep cutting it. If I would have used an X-Acto knife, I would have made a big, big, yucky mess. Because I'm not good with that. I think you know my college story about how I ended up having to take one of my girlfriends to the hospital because she was an art major and she used an X-Acto knife and it cut her thumb to the bone. It was my first experience having to drive somebody to the hospital, and I'm telling you, I didn't want to do that again. Okay. I think that's about it. What I want to do first is I want to put my acetate in the center. And the acetate is going to be 3 3/4 inches square. Well, I put tear tape on the back of it. And I'm going to put this underneath. This is going to be on the bottom of our lid, not on top of our box lid. You want to make sure that it's well adhered. And again, we're going to put it on the box, or on the bottom. And this is my bottom. The way you know your bottom is your scores are, the indentation is on this side. I want to just make sure that I get this nice and cleanly adhered. We're going to put our foam squares, or foam tape, sorry. I don't know why I call it foam squares. We're going to put foam tape on it, and I'm going to use these really thin pieces. She used clear foam, and I've never seen the clear foam, so I can't tell you where to buy that. I'm just going to use this really thin foam tape, and I don't even know where I got it. You want to make sure that you put it as close as you can to your box, but not right up to the box opening, because you want to make sure that if you don't have the clear tape like she has, you don't want anybody to be able to see it. You don't want to have any gaps. A gap is a big boo-boo when you're doing this. I don't like to have any kind of opening with these, because if you have an opening, I don't know if you've ever had this happen where you have a shaker card that shakes debris all over the place, but I did that once and I do not want to do it again. It's embarrassing. I did it for a shower card, and it was a baby shower, and I had shower confetti from where I made it and to the place that I dropped it off, so it was ugly. Then what I want to do, I don't know, a lot of people don't do this, but I like to do this whenever I can. I was trying to find that little shaker bottle that you use for embossing. So I'm just going to kind of go around the edges. You're trying to get a little bit of that powder on the sides of your tape. If you take your backing off first, what you end up with is you end up with your foam tape not being sticky at all, because you've made it non-sticky by doing what I just told you not to do. Normally, when you make a shaker window, you do 2 layers of foam tape because you want to have a really nice height. In this case, we're not going to do that. We're only going to put 1 layer because we want to make sure that our box isn't too crazy high or too crazy deep. We only want to have 1 section of foam tape. Hopefully that made sense. Sometimes I don't know if I do. I didn't want my sides to be on the acetate. You want to make sure that your foam tape is not near the acetate. Okay, next up we're going to fill these, and I have I got these sixteenth pinks and reds. They're all kinds of shaker things that you can use for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to see which ones I think I'd like to use, if any. So I bought a bunch of these shaker circles at Hobby Lobby at Christmas time. So I'm picking out the red and white ones and leaving the green ones behind. The white ones are really staticky, and I'm having a heck of a time getting them off my fingers. I got pink sequins here, and they're a variety of sizes. I'm not crazy about these huge ones. Maybe that's all there are, these huge ones. Okay, I think that's all I want to put in. Although I don't have anything really gold in my project. I'll just put a couple in. Okay, that's all we're putting in. I stuck to my not 100,000 of them in there, didn't I? So then what you want to do is you want to put your other piece of acetate. Now keep in mind, this is the underneath of your box. So this is where we're going to have everything shaking. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to cut. Again, this is our top. So we're going to flip it back over, and I want to show you this. This is the piece that we made for everything to be attached to our lid with. It's our frame, and the pieces that are in our frame, I used my dies, and I used, I'll just lay these out so I know which one I used. I used the one that is, it's a little bit over 4 inches wide, about 4 1/8 wide. And then I used one that was, I think it's 3 1/4. It's about 3 1/8 wide. So what I did was I took this one and this one, and I cut out the pink paper with it. And what I did, let me show you this one. Then what I did is I taped them together and I cut out the pink. You follow that? So this one is around a little bit over 3 and the other one's a little bit over 4. And then what I did, that's the pink layer. So then I took these two and I cut this, I left the same small die in there that was right around a little bit over 3 inches. And then I cut the next die that is about, on the outside is what I'm measuring these. It is about 3 5/8. And what I did was I cut those two dies out, and I glued the white or off-white piece onto the pink. So the pink goes the whole way, and it's a good base to hold my white or cream, whatever we're going to call it. Hopefully that made sense to you. And we're going to use glues that are really strong and will make our box stronger. So I'm going to use this Beacon 3-in-1 glue. Sam used what she calls, well, I guess it is, the name of this glue is Kalal. It's a glue that you can find in the UK. I have not found it in the US, but she uses it, and she says that it makes her projects really strong. And if you can't use a thicker paper, then the glue, she says, will make it stronger and strong enough to, with your thinner papers. My white paper I got at Joanns, and it is not a really thick paper, but I have not been able to find any 12x12 cardstock that is really strong. And this is on the opposite side from where we have the shaker card built. This shaker card's built back there. So hopefully that made sense. And then we're going to decorate that. Okay, next step is we're going to cut our outer part of our lid. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut off, oh, I got to get my scissors. Okay. I'm going to cut off this box. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. This box. Hold on, I want to get my score cut out too. Jeez, my score doesn't go the whole way. That's why I'm struggling with this. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to cut that out. And you want to cut this piece, but you're not going to cut that off. You're just going to cut to there. Then you're going to, I don't know the easiest way to do this. I'm trying to think of a way to tell you to cut these off. We're going to cut off this box. So basically you're going to cut off your 2 outside boxes. I'll show you this way, so maybe it makes more sense to you if I do it this way. You're going to cut out your 2 outside boxes, plus you're going to cut out the bottom of your inside box. And then you're going to cut little notches on this one. And we're going to do this with all 4 corners. You want to make this as clean of a fold as you can. And then we'll do that to the other ones. I folded in all of my scores. So now what I want to do is I want to show you how to fold in and attach everything to the tabs to the inner part of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue on the on the outside of this tab. So I'm going to put it right there. And what you want to do is you want to take it and you want to fold it up. Hold on. I want to make sure you see this. You want to fold it so that these 2 folds are butting up against each other. And I might want to change my glue because you want a glue that's going to hold, that's going to catch. So I think what I want to do is change to my Barely Art glue because that'll catch quickly. Okay, again, you want to make these 2 lines even, right like that. And then we'll do the same thing. I want to make sure I got that well adhered. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to put our glue on the outside of our tab. And then you want to bring this up and you want to line them up so they're straight. These outer parts we're going to glue in on top of these in a second. The thing that's nice about these flaps that we're going to be putting in is that they will hold everything down and make our box much cleaner on the inside. And, well, since this is the lid, and the other thing that's nice about it is that they will make our lid really sturdy. So what we're going to do is we're going to open these up and we're going to put some of our Beacon 3-in-1 in here. You only want it to be on the flap, but it's okay if it goes down below, because if it goes down below, you're going to end up covering that up. No one's going to see that if it goes somewhere else. Okay. And I like to use clothespins or pins of some kind, clips. You really want to push these flaps in too. I'll show you that in a second, because you want to be able to have your flaps on your box lid to be nice and flat. And if they aren't, you will really struggle to get the lid on and off. Then what you want to do, once you've put them where you want them, what I like to do is I like to put the lid on my glue, and then I take my bone folder. My bone folder is, I don't know if they sell it anymore in the stores. It's a Fisker's bone folder, but you can find it in a lot of, like eBay sells it, Amazon sells them. You can find them is what I'm trying to say. I like it because I can get down in little corners with it. This way, you're absolutely sure that your flaps are completely adhered. Next up, we're going to glue our pieces to the sides, and I'll tell you the sizes of these. The sides, the lid sides, which are these, you need 4 that are 4 1/4 by 1 inch. That's the pink piece. And then 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch tall, and that's the greenish piece. And those are the pieces, you need 4 of those, as I said, and those are the ones that we're going to be gluing to the side of our box. And I'm going to use Barely Art glue for that because we've already used the 3-in-1 to make our sides thick. Now we're going to decorate. When you decorate, you don't need these to be adhered with the beacon because you already have the beacon holding the side flap down, and that'll make that piece really nice and strong. There's my first piece. And then you don't need a lot of this glue, but I always convince myself I need more than I've got on there. You know what I mean? I just don't know why I do that, but I do. I don't think there's really a direction for this paper, you know, like up and down or side to side with the hearts. I think they're just fine however you glue them. And don't forget, we're going to decorate that lid in a minute. Then we're going to make our base. And again, our base is the same 9.5 by 9.5, and we just need to cut the sides like we did the other, well, not exactly like the other one. We're going to fold in our scores, and then what I want to do is I want to cut in these sides on the score. I'm going to cut it a little bit. You want to eliminate your score. You don't want to see that. And then you're going to do a nice clean angle like that. And you're going to do the same on this side. Now these scores you will be able to see. The other ones you weren't, because remember we pulled the flaps down over them, so you really couldn't see them. But these ones you will be able to see. So you want them to be a little bit clean. The first thing I want to tell you though is I did save a piece of our green paper, and I'm going to use the beacon on this, and I'm going to use the beacon on our side flaps because we want them to be sturdy, and the only way to make them sturdy is to use a good glue that'll add some dimension, not really dimension, but it adds a little bit of sturdiness to the box. And then we're just going to put that into our, this is the time to do this, because otherwise if you do it later, it's going to be harder to do, and you want it to be as simple as possible. And you want to make sure it's kind of centered in your little square. You'll be able to see it better than, I mean, you can't see it probably really well now, but you will see it when you do your own. Okay, next up, we're going to put the beacon on our side flaps on the outside of your side flap. Remember, this is so that we can glue it in. You want to hold your two pieces up and look at them so that you're sure that you have these two corners straight like that. And I always use a clip to hold it, and so making sure that it's well adhered. And then I'm going to put a clip on this one so that both of the pieces are adhered. And then we're going to put some glue on its counterpart. Again, we're using the beacon to add some stability. We're going to make sure that they're butted exactly up against each other on the side. That's how you make a good box, is making sure that those side seams are nice and flat with each other. Then we're going to do the outside of this flap and the outside of this flap. It's easier for me if I hold the box on its end, and that way I can get the glue where I want it, and I can make sure that I've got, I can hold on to everything and get my pieces in place. And then we're going to put it on its side. And again, we're going to use either a bone folder. Let's say you don't have a bone folder. You can use your ruler and just rub on it. You want to get the whole flap rubbed in. And then we'll take these two clips off, and then we'll put this. First things first, these for the outside of our box, these are 4 1/4 inches long on the pink and 2 1/4 inches tall pink. Then the pattern piece is 4 inches by 2 inches, and you need 4 of those because you're going to glue them to the outside of your box. Oh geez, I've got hearts attached to everything. And I'm going to use my beacon glue on this too because it'll add more stability to my box. And you know, we want as sturdy of a box as we can get, especially when you're using cheaper paper. Well, when I'm using 12 by 12 paper, I really struggle to find a thicker paper. I'm going to lay these on each other and see if I can get the glue to smear onto its buddy. There. I got some of the glue off. Oh, almost glued it on upside down. That would have been bad. And we want to And the other problem I had when I bought my paper is the only color paper I could get was white. And that was a bummer because I would have really liked to have had other colors. The best way to get these to stay laid down is to lay the box on them and then press. Lay the box on them and press them in. And then I want to do these two. The papers that I used, I got with my Simon Says Stamp Kit of the Month Club for January, I think. And I'll say this. I like the Simon Says Stamp Kit of the Month because it lets you, if you want to not do a month, like skip a month, they let you do that. And I think that's nice because a lot of other companies will only let you do that every once in a while. But I've been skipping months with Simon Says Stamp a lot and they still let me do it. So I think that's nice. I'm going to put candies in this box, loose candies. My goal is to put a pound of it in there, but I don't think I'll get a pound of candy in there. Okay, let's see if our lid fits because we want to decorate the lid now. When she did hers, she just kind of squeezed it. She said it is a tight fit. Okay, yeah, she's not kidding. It is a tight fit. There is our box, and then what we need to do is we need to decorate. So here's what we're going to be decorating with. I thought what I would do is I would position some of these hearts that I die cut. So what we've got, and we use the glossy accents on them. We have the bear. I put glossy accents on the heart, and I love you. And the heart didn't have I love you in it. I just stamped that in there, in case you wondered. Okay, I have these red hearts that I could glue somewhere. If I come up with something else to glue onto it, I will add it to the photo. So I hope that you enjoyed this and that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.